Ancient Persia was the largest empire of its time, and with its vast peoples and cultures, art played a significant role in shaping the way people understood the world. And military absolutely played a large role in that, as ancient Persian society heavily revolved around the military, and for years boasted the most powerful empire and military in the ancient world. Persians expected their military conquests to be quick and clean, as their military prowess and sheer size of their army gave them the confidence in a swift victory. The Persians used art in the form of statues as a way to boast their military might, as well as intimidate and influence the people. These statues and sculptures were usually very large and not only intimidating in its image, but in its scale as well. Aside from the art of sculpting, the art of war brought Persia not only a massive army, but a very elite one. One of the most important and most feared group of these elite soldiers were known as the Immortals. They were known as the Immortals because if one soldier managed to die in battle, another immortal would take his place instantly, as if a soldier had never fallen in the first place. This endless swarm of immensely skilled swordsmen struck fear into the opponents of the Persians, and are a greatly important reason for the expanse of the Persian Empire as it neared its height of power. This magnificent frieze of Persian archers was created around 510 BC, discovered at the palace of Darius the Great in Susa. It was found in various pieces across the palace hall, making their purpose or identity of the piece more difficult to place. It is believed that this is a primary source of depiction of the Immortals, or perhaps it could represent an ideal image of the Persian people. Because the Persians were greatly accepting of their people's differing cultures, it is also thought that the similarity between every archer could represent the unity of all the cultures of the Persian Empire, a grand depiction of a grand unified empire. Or more simply, Darius I had a great appreciation for archers who were a very important asset to the grand military of the Persian Empire. 3,500 years ago, in ancient Persia, the prophet Zoroaster founded the religion of the same name, Zoroastrianism. This monotheistic faith became the primary religion for the Persian Empire for some time, up until the influence of Islam had seeped into the region. Followers of this faith may choose how often they pray and study the newer and older sections of their holy text, called the Avesta. In the Zoroastrian religion, the dualistic battle between good and evil was a prevalent issue in the daily lives of many Persians. They believed that after death, the body was susceptible to be made impure and contaminated by demons. To avoid this, they would take the bodies to dakmas, flat-topped towers in the desert. Bodies were placed in 3 rings, men on the outside, women in the middle, and children in the central ring. The idea was that the bodies on the top of the tower would be picked clean by vultures and then bleached by the outside elements, and when only the skeleton was left, the body would be considered as purified. This desire for purity and goodness became an important aspect of how the Persians ordered their society. Fire played an important role in their worship, as it represented the god of light and wisdom, Ahura Mazda. They carried out this worship in structures known as fire temples, which contained outlets where natural gas provided a source for an eternal flame to burn. These temples display a trident at their peak, which presumably stands for good thoughts and good deeds, which are a core principle of this once powerful religion. The Persian Empire was, at one point in history, the largest in the world. Their territory stretched from Egypt to southeast Europe to the Indus River Valley. In order to connect their vast empire, the Persians constructed the Persian Royal Road. This system allowed for the movement and influence of many cultures to move through their empire, and even connected them to the Far East with eventual connections to the fabled Silk Road. The influence of multiple cultures allowed the Persians to incorporate multiple languages into their own alphabet. Ancient Persia was very technologically advanced and utilized the wheel to its full potential. As shown in this piece, the Persian king is riding in a chariot while hunting lions. While this use of the wheel was apparent in many art pieces as well as military use, the wheel also became an important piece for their advancements in infrastructure. The ancient Persians used the water wheel to raise and manipulate the water from the great rivers such as the Nile, and used this technology to improve irrigation systems throughout their empire. The rulers of the Persian Empire understood that if they were to rule over such a vast empire, that they would need to find a system to control it with its many peoples and cultures. The Persians used art in the form of architecture in order to assert its dominance and stability as a very successful empire to the public. Large cities were built with magnificent architecture, depicting things such as subjects paying the king tribute. The empire had incorporated many systems of government from its conquered territories, a lot of it being influenced by the Assyrians, and came up with a centralized bureaucratic system of government. King Darius used a system of division to control his empire. He organized his empire into about 20 satrapies, or provinces. Each province had a satrap, who was essentially a governor and also had his own lesser sub-satrap, along with many other officials sent by the king to keep all the satraps in check. This spread the ruling power out very evenly and was very easy to keep in control. Besides the clever organization of the government, a very important feature that the Persian Empire is known for is their tolerance and acceptance of their very diverse empire. There was freedom of religion and practice in their empire, which did very much in keeping the population of the empire from rebellion. There was certainly the dictatorial understanding that all the people of the empire were subject to the king. However, there was a very prominent doctrine of tolerance and respect within the Persian Empire.